Lesson for Year 10 Sociology on the Social Inequality section, the underclass, a group possibly at the bottom of the working class system. We're going to learn about this possible new class, going to understand their origins, where they come from, develop our sociological analysis skills, thinking about it. What we're going to be thinking about, amongst other things, is does this group really exist, or are they just part of the working class? If they do exist, whose fault is it? And if they do exist, what, if anything, can be done about them? Keywords are working class, unskilled, unemployed, long-term, means for a long time, state benefits like income support, immigrants, dependent, dependency. If you're dependent on something, you need to survive, you have a state of dependency. Subculture, you know what that means, decrease and trapped. Okay, so this underclass business, it's one of those phrases that's escaped from sociology into the real world. Lots of people use it and know about it. I could have given you umpteen cartoons about lazy people, political slogans about benefits, headlines from newspapers about scroungers. So the first thing to notice about this underclass business is that when it escapes from sociology, it becomes what we call pejorative. The word is not used in a nice way. It is used to describe somebody you don't approve of. It's not simply a word to describe a group, like working class, middle class. It's a pejorative term. It's a term you use to describe a group you do not like. Moving on. So the underclass, who we do in this charting class, put very basically, it's been caused by the globalisation and the decline in the number of unskilled jobs. Think of it like this. 50 years ago, there were lots of jobs in factories. Lots of jobs doing work like this. Making things. Work that's not very skilled. This work lots of it has left this country and gone to countries like India and China. They make the stuff there and it's now transported here in containers. This is what we call globalisation. So we've now got a group of people at the bottom of the class pyramid, the bottom of the working class, who no longer have any work. So they can't be working class, goes the argument, because they don't work. They have less work. In terms of Addington, think of the factories on Vulcan Way. Used to be thousands of people employed there. Now it's only in the hundreds. The work has gone. So it's a group at the bottom of the stratification system. They are the long-term unemployed and they survive on state benefits. This is fairly uncontroversial. The only thing people argue about is, are they truly a separate class, or are they actually just the bottom of the working class without work? So the question is, are the underclass to blame for their predicament, the state they're in? And if you looked at these sort of things again, it's fairly obvious that lots of people in our culture believe that the underclass, it's their fault. They are scroungers. They don't want to work. And clearly, there may well be some people for whom that is an accurate description. However, it's not the only way to look at it. This bloke is called Charles Murray. He's the inventor, if you like, of the term underclass. Inventor's the wrong word, he came up with it first. He said, you know what? It's not just that they are poor, it's a subculture. They think in a certain way. They have their own norms and values. He's thinking of things like shameless. It's not just they don't work, they don't want to work, they don't plan to work. They expect to live their whole lives on benefits. If that happens, they socialise their kids, and this keeps the whole thing going. I hope you're getting the hang of this with primary socialisation. Murray's idea is, if you're born into this family, if all you see around you your whole life are people not working, claiming benefits, you will think that is normal. So that is Charles Murray's idea, and that's his problem with the underclass. However, Murray himself doesn't blame the underclass. He blames the government for supplying them with too generous benefits. So his solution to all this is to cut benefits, thereby forcing people to take any work that they can. Murray's work has been extremely important and influential in America and in Britain. Before we get too carried away with him, we ought to know a little bit more about him. Charles Murray is also famous for writing a book, here's the cover of it, called The Bell Curve, about intelligence, social class and ethnicity. And in his book, he goes on to prove in his head, here's everybody and their IQ, from not very clever all the way up to very clever. Einstein's 160, Wyszynski is 132, by the way. That's an aside, it's not important, but it is to me. However, he says, you know what, this underclass, they're all down here. And in American terms, they're black. You heard me. Charles Murray thinks the problem is, in America, the underclass are black and black people are stupid. Now, this is why Charles Murray is not that liked in British sociology, because he appears to be more than a little bit of a racist. So what we'll do when we make these notes is we'll use the notes to do this essay. Discuss how far, so I would agree that, you know that, class is not important in Britain today. We'll use this and previous lessons. One sentence answer. Information, facts, stats, back up your answer. Sum up and re-answer the question. That's how we do this essay.